Welcome back everyone. So today I'm going to be installing a dash cam into the vehicle. It's a very quick and simple process, takes about 20 minutes and you need limited tools or experience. So I use the Nextbase cameras. I've found them to be really good quality, really good value for money. With that as well, I use the genuine Nextbase hardwire kit for it. You can get Chinese versions, but I like the Nextbase one because it comes with all the parts that you need, and again it's good quality. So the way that I install the camera is by using a piggyback fuse off of the interior fuse box. This way you're not cutting into any cables, and when you come to sell the car you can very easily remove all the cabling without causing any destruction to any of the parts, and use it again in your new vehicle. Also, with the way the hard wiring is done, once the camera's installed, the camera will start recording as soon as your ignition's turned on, and then you can set the camera for about a minute afterwards. Once the ignition is turned off, it will then stop recording and turn itself off. It does have a very small limited battery on the camera. So it's a very simple process, and we'll get started. So the first things first is work out where you're going to put the camera itself. I tend to hide it behind the rear view mirror, and this car is quite a big shroud here, so it's quite difficult. Obviously you want the camera in the centre of the vehicle as best as possible, and ideally up as high as possible, so it's hidden behind the rear view mirror, just to make it better for yourself, because then you can't see it when you're looking from the driver's side. So I'm going to probably look to put mine in around there, because it's towards the centre and it's hidden and it's good for running the cables. It's really simple with this one. It's double sticky tape. You just peel it back and then just place the mount where you'd like. So it's as simple as that. Next thing is just to release this the cover just by the rear view mirror. It's very simple. It just literally use your panel tool or your fingers just gently. It just unclips from the top. And there we go. All that means is you can run the cable behind the center clip, which is just there. So the next thing we need to do is just remove this pillar cover. The first thing we need to do is just remove this clip for the airbag. It's just a case of prying through underneath there. And that pulls out. Next thing, just held on a little bit at the bottom, and that's that out. You've just got one clip in the centre there. So the next thing to do is just to remove the fuse cover itself. I use panel tools simply because if you look here, where someone's removed the panel before and used something probably like a screwdriver or something metal, it's caused an indentation into the actual dash itself. To remove the fuse box on this one, there's a couple of clips here, here and here, and then it hinges out. So you just get the tool in, and then it hinges out and just unhooks. To remove the fuse box itself on here, all you need to do, it's held in two little clips here and then it hinges forward. So just push them down, and then that's the fuse box. The fuse box itself is hinged at the bottom as well, but that will then pull forward, which gives us enough play. And with here, there's a lot of space behind the fuse box that we can hide all the cables away. So on the Mercedes, the first thing I want to do is just to feed the power cable behind this panel so that it can run up behind the A-pillow, and so the rest of the cable is still hidden behind the fuse box. So I'll just do that now. So now the cable is poked up through the A-pillar, all I do now is just loosely place this cable along the top part, feeding it behind the mount there. Just going to plug it into the camera. So now that's in, we can mount this cover back, and as you can see, the cable's now nice and tight, tucked out the way behind the shroud. All I will do then is work along the head lining, just tucking the cable in until we get to the A-pillar, and then just run it down the bottom of the A-pillar, pulling the cable back as we go along, making it nice and tight. So I've run the cable round and I've pulled all the slack through. So what I'm going to do now is bundle the cable in the back here, and then all we need to do is feed these two cables back round behind here. Okay, so I can move this fuse box back up into place for now. So you've got these two cables coming through. Obviously one is for your fuse, one is your mains, and one is your earth. So we're going to use fuse 216, which is this 5 amp one here, which is for your glove box light. So what we're going to use is this piggyback fuse mount. So all we do is take out that fuse, place it in, I'm going to leave that out for now. And the only other thing to do is you need a good solid mount for the earth. So we've got a bulkhead fuse here which has got a metal bit behind. So on this one it's just a 13mm spanner. I'm just going to loosen it off slightly. And then I'm just going to place my earth cable behind it. Just slightly fiddly. Knock the camera over. So all I did was undo this bulkhead bolt there, which is to hold the dash on. it's only a 13mm spanner. Behind there is a metal plate, so it's got a good earthing point. What you need is a good chassis earth for these. If you do find that when you try later the camera doesn't work, it's usually because of the earth isn't the best. The only other thing to do now is just to plug the jumper fuse back in, like that, and then just feed your excess cable tuck your cable back out of the way. Right, so that's the install basically complete on this side. All we need to do now is just to put the cover back. And like I was saying before, with the panel tools, you can see that all the way around the top of here, you can see where people have used screwdrivers and that before to get this panel off, because it's all indented, and using screwdrivers on plastic, especially interior plastics, you end up denting the plastic. So the best thing is to get yourself a little cheap set of panel tools. They're only about £5 on Amazon, but they will save damaging the plastics. So with these, there's a couple of little hooks that just hook in. Tucks in behind the pillar mount. And then clips back into place. And that is the fuse bits completed. That video, obviously, once you've got the fuse cover back on, you can reinstall the A cover or the pillar cover by the airbag. It goes back on exactly the same way it comes off, and then just to double check that the camera works, you turn the ignition on, the camera should come on and start recording, and when you turn the ignition off, the camera should go off after the predetermined time that you've set the camera to do so. If the camera doesn't work, what you might need to do is just double check your earths, or just because, like I say before, that it needs to have a good earth. So where that bulkhead was with the metal on metal, that works quite well. If you can't find, and you find that the bolt or the screw goes onto sort of the painted bit, especially behind the dash, if you just scrape off a small amount of the paint just around the edge behind that screw, then you'll find you'll get a better earth, and it should work. But hope the video was interesting. If you would need any advice, drop me a message, and like the video and subscribe to the channel. I've got a couple more videos coming up. I've got the MST induction kit has arrived, so that'll be going on the car very soon, and a couple more videos on general touch-ups, doing paint chips and removing the decals on the back of the car. But hopefully I'll see you in the next video.